Gotta work on the 68 today and try and fix some oil leaks that it has. But there's a real interesting thing that's quite annoying about this time of year out here. And it's pretty much universal to everything that sits outside. Unlock that door. And then when I open it, nothing but these little shits all over the place. Alright, so this doodad's on the lift because the oil cooler lines have been leaking. So what the plan is I've already bent these up whenever I put the oil cooler on, and it took forever. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the crimped part off. I got new hose, and I'm going to put the hose on it with a hose clamp, flare the end of it, and it should be where I can replace the hose if need be, and it shouldn't leak. So we'll see how that works. Anyways, I got the ends of these flared. Focus. I got the ends of these flared, and we're putting it on this new hose, and then we're gonna put some hose clamps on it, and it won't leak. Okay, method seems to be take that doodad and cut all the way through it, not going all the way through the rubber because we don't want to tear up the inside of the tube. And I pretty much cut it until it just nicked some sparks off of that, and then we'll break the rest of it off with a screwdriver, and it'll come right off. La-da-da-da-da. Properly uncrimp your shitty leaking crimp. Oh darn, I screwed that up. Oh well.
I remember in the last video you just took where you said don't cut the rubber.
I tried my best not to. Really, the metal is what we're trying to protect. Oh my goodness.
Do we need the heat for this one?
Oh no, it's good now. Yeah, so that's the part we want to save. And now we're gonna flare it and put it on and have an oil leak.
These at China Auto.
The Most Plus.
Most Plus China Auto. Automotive tools right here. It's only broken a couple times. Only had to replace some bolts. Only all of the threads are gacked.
Flares it perfectly circular.
Yeah, that isn't oval shaped whatsoever. Wow. That is actually pretty impressive. That looks more like an egg than a sphere.
It's fine. The flare is circular, so the flaring tool is circular. Oh, that's the wrong way.
Is that how that works?
Yeah, that's how it works. I mean, look at that.
Someone who only wants to know how to fix their leaking AC lines are really going to appreciate this part.
They will.
I get to the point I have to drive this to work tomorrow.
Yeah, you can probably end it there. And then cut to it being done.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Nobody wants to see this.
Look, it's done.
I meant the flare.
You're welcome.
Excellent transition, though.
Okay, for real this time. Do. There. Now you know where to cut it because it's all black.
So there's about how much it's flared. So that way that just gives the hose clamp something to grab so that hopefully it won't come off of there. It just puts a little more resistance on everything. So there's about how much of a flare we did.
And Trevor.
Wow, we're seating the hose in this churning butter type motion. There, see, it's that easy.
You should pull it off and show it again because most of that was on your face.
Oh. Do that. That's all, yeah, you just wiggle her on down, and it's on there permanently now, so that's just gonna be the situation. That's a Phillips. You can cut that now. Get out of here with that. Okay, truck's up on the lift now. First time it's probably ever been on the lift. There's the diff. Tomorrow's plan is going to be to replace that leaking thing so we can get transmission fluid out of all of it. But we got the oil cooler lines back in. You can see them right there. We haven't tested to see if it leaks yet. Hopefully it won't. Nothing is touching the header. The lines aren't touching each other. the cooler works too good, so I left that insulation off. I didn't see any point in putting it back on. But we got an air gap everywhere. Got a gap up here. All the clamps are tight. The hoses have the insulation back on them. Got these two guys zip tied together. Got the insulation between there so it can't rub. And so it's all back together now. Just double check and make sure everything's tight. It is. Okay, then we gotta see if it leaks. Breeze as in the wind, a breeze of wind. So these are the clamps we used, and so far they seem to be completely and totally worth the money. They didn't strip out, and everything seems to be pretty good with them. My poor little tool here died. That's disappointing. Oh, never mind. It's right here. Threads are ruined, so it's dead. The only casualty today. I think if this were a Blazer, that'd be the perfect ride height.
Yeah.
It's not down, but...
No, it's not. But if we have to put it back up.
Oh, that's a good point. That's a good point. Gotta check the leaks. All right, ladies and gents, much to my surprise, I guess we did it right, because there's no leaks under the truck. So, gonna take it home, let it sit overnight, see if there's any leaks in the morning, and hopefully all will be well, and we'll tackle the seal in the transmission another day. Fun. Oh, I forgot to spray off this back thing, damn it. Okay, so, got a new... What? I'm sure he's just doing his thing. Put a new seal in here. Hopefully that will prevent the transmission fluid from coming out of wherever it's been coming out, because it was coming out in rather large quantities. And I now have wet socks, and I degreased the truck as best I could. And credit where credit is due, because I've never tried it until now. This works pretty dang good. So, I like that. I just bought. And it worked extremely good, because all of this was covered in grease. And there is nothing left. It's just all down to the paint. This was also covered in grease, and it still got a little funk on the top of it, but that's just because the hose didn't get up there. Transmission was covered, and it's all good. That was all covered in grease because it never got painted. So that is the only grease that stayed, but that's been on there for who knows how long. But yeah, overall it did extremely well. That's probably the only kind I'll use. Schnazzy.
You want to go ahead and leave those. Those go well in the motor.
Sparkly?
Yeah.
Yeah,
What motor?
the BD350 where I saw that pan and I was like, good lord, what did all this come out of?
I'm sure it is. We're getting some real good camera work here. Yeah. There's action shots.
Going for a green.
Yep. I have to add this to my filmography. We could watch it flare if your hand wasn't in the way.
Nobody needs to see this.
Everyone wants to see this.
Nobody wants to see this. It's
Everybody
just gonna be
wants
cut.
to. No, it's not. Oh shoot, except none of this is usable because of the radio. Damn it.
Oh,
Yep. Da-da. 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 Yeah, that's pretty solid. Yeah, no, we're totally getting an Oscar.